So, welcome to another episode of Merge Extra. Today we have a guest with us. I'm excited about today's episode because I think, we should speak to more young Omani talent. And today we have someone who is a young Omani talent. He's a basketball player who recently won an NBA award for best sportsmanship, I believe. So today we're speaking to Mohammed Al Raisi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we'll start by having you tell us about yourself, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Mohammed, as you know, as you just introduced me. I'm 17 years of age. I play basketball for Selfdoubt and for the Omani national team.
Okay.
I currently studying in my 11th year, about to go to my 12th next year. And my life's been a roller coaster recently because of all the places I've been due to basketball, and I wouldn't have any other way.
Okay, and when did you start playing basketball?
At around 2020.
COVID,
yeah.
Okay.
So I got into it pre-COVID, and then COVID hit. So I got myself a mini rim that I hung on my wall, and so I just used to play at home every day during COVID.
Okay.
And so that helped me get better, honestly. And then once COVID ended, I found my club, Selfdoubt, and I started training with them, and they immediately took me, and they immediately started training me properly.
So everyone was sitting on their couch during COVID and you were practicing basketball.
I was out at 7 a.m.
MashaAllah.
in the Oman heat just because I wanted to shoot sometimes.
Okay.
So I would say, yeah, it paid off. It really paid off.
Okay, and tell me about you joining the national team.
I got picked for the national team after my second tournament with my team. So it was a 3-on-3 tournament. And after we finished the tournament, they immediately contacted my dad and told him that I had been selected for the shortlist for the under-18 national team. And so I had to go do the trials, and I had to meet the coaches, obviously. And so it took me about 2 weeks of trials, and then they told me that I was formally selected for the national team. And then almost a year after that, I got selected for the senior national team.
Okay.
And I made the shortlist for that too.
Okay. And you were also recently selected to play at a camp, an NBA camp in Abu Dhabi, I believe?
Yeah, it was NBA Basketball Without Borders.
Okay.
It is a collaboration with FIBA too, the international governing body of basketball. And it's an invite-only camp.
Okay.
So
you were invited out of... was there anyone else from Oman who was invited?
No, it was
You were the only Omani who was invited to this camp?
I was one of 3 Khalijis. It was me,
okay,
an Emirati, and a Qatari.
Okay.
So it was only us 3, and there was 1 Jordanian. So there weren't many Arabs, as you would say, but it was us 4, and I was the only Omani.
So you represented also the Arab world in a very nice way.
Yeah.
Tell me about the camp.
Well, it was my first camp ever.
Okay.
Going outside of Oman alone, because I had went to camps with the national team before, but it was my first one going alone, so I had no idea what to expect.
Okay.
And I knew a lot of the players there from from playing against them or seeing them play or stuff like that. So I didn't really know what to expect. They booked me a flight, and I took a flight from Muscat to Dubai, and then from Dubai, car ride to Abu Dhabi, which was the worst part of it all.
The car ride? I think it's just an hour. What was so bad about that?
It was an hour, but you got there. My flight was at 12, so I got there at 1, right?
You just want to sleep.
Yeah, so I got there at 1. So it was a 1-hour car ride, and it felt like it was 4 hours because I just wanted to get there to because I was anxious. Obviously, I didn't know where we were going, what was about to happen. So the entire car ride, it was just me just playing with my phone or listening to music. Then we got there. I believe we were at Millennium, Abu Dhabi, and then I formally checked in to the hotel, and they gave me my room key. I go inside my room. Everybody has a roommate.
Okay.
And to my coincidence, my roommate was the Emirati.
Okay.
So right from the start, I asked him, what do we do? Where do I go? He was like, did you get any of your clothes or anything? I was like, no, I just got here. So he's like, you gotta go down to the camper lounge, get your clothes, get your bag, get your everything. I went down as fast as I could because we were leaving for training in an hour, and I had just arrived.
No sleep?
No sleep.
Oh, wow.
If I just I just immediately ran to the camper
Down,
lounge.
okay.
I got my stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, like hurry up, and you gotta change because we're leaving for training." So it was really quite hectic. And then once it got rolling, it just didn't stop, and I appreciated that because if it just keeps on going in a confined schedule, you really don't have any like room to complain or anything because you're just going with the flow.
And you're training, and it was like, how was that experience training at that level? Then it's like NBA training, yani, صح?
Yeah.
So how was it training at that level?
It was like nothing like I experienced before because we had NBA players actually training us, and NBA coaches, NBA assistant coaches. So like to go from like not playing for like a month almost because I had exams. So I was not playing for a month to all of a sudden being like at a camp
coached by NBA
players, and like I felt so rusty. But after like the first 2 days, you just get into it because you're supposed to like just roll with it. You train for almost 6 hours
a day,
and then the rest of your day is like preset for you. Like they'll tell you have lunch from this hour to this hour. You'll have dinner from this hour to this hour. Lights out at like 11 or.
Oh, there's lights out.
There is lights out.
Oh, it sounds like a military camp.
But it's not as strict.
Also, I would feel like you would want to Aslan just sleep after 6 hours. Who wants to do something after 6 hours of training?
Definitely, and like I guess the definition of lights out is just like stay in your rooms
and don't come out.
Don't come out of your rooms.
That's the same in our.
Yeah, just stay in your rooms. So once it's lights out, most of the time it's just we just sit in the room and just start talking until we just get some.
So
sleep.
You got along with the new people that you met there and everything?
For sure, and I was surprised by how many different nationalities there were. There were people from Australia, New Zealand. All parts of Asia. You had people from Malaysia. You had people from China. You had obviously the Khalijis and the Arabs I mentioned, and it was just I wasn't expecting it to be that many people. And once I got there, I saw there were like 40 people. So there were 40 guys and 40 girls. So 40 guys and maybe 18 different nationalities. So it was a unique blend.
Experience.
Yeah.
Would you? I mean, I think, mashallah, you're 17 years old and you got to experience something like this. I think it is a unique experience.
For sure.
Do you think more people should get into things like that? Like, and why would you tell them to get into something like that? What's something you picked up from experiencing this?
Definitely just how to have professionalism, how to stay on your schedule, on your time, know what to work on, what not to work on, when you should work on this, when you shouldn't work on this, when you should have limitations for yourself.
So discipline,
basically.
So the main thing you feel you picked up from this is discipline.
Discipline, for sure, because the skills you pick up are like essential skills, for sure. And you can pick these skills up and you can perfect them on your own. But as soon as you pick them up, they're just instilled in you. They never leave you. But getting that discipline to keep them with you, to know what to do at all times, that's something a lot of players want to have, and it's something you definitely shouldn't lack.
The award you won. Tell me about the award.
So there were multiple awards to be won, and the one I was given was the Sportsmanship Award. This is presented to the player that is the most friendly towards his peers, that embodies team spirit the most, that basically this player will give you 110% every single time. And so the person or the people, who would pick this award were the coaches. And so there will be a voting process for each award. And when the votes came out, they gave me a unanimous vote for that award.
Whoa! So you won the best sportsmanship award by unanimous decision.
Unanimous, yeah. Every single coach I talked to was like, "I voted for you," because and even coaches that didn't coach me, after I got the award, they talked to me and they were like, "I didn't get the chance to coach you, but every coach here has been raving about you the entire camp." So
about your team spirit, about your effort, about
for sure. So they were like, "I heard nothing but good about you." And I'm glad they gave you that award. You deserve it.
How did you feel getting that award?
In the moment, like, I'm pretty sure there's a video. In the moment, I just turned red.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, they gave that award, and they gave it to... There was 2 awards for that. One goes to a girl, and one goes to a boy.
Okay.
So they gave the girl first, right? So when it was the boy's turn, like, everybody just quiet down, and then, like, all my friends next to me, they're like, you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. I'm just like, whoever gets it, I'm happy, whatever. It's like... So once it was me, it was actually me. I didn't expect it to be me. And I got up, and everybody felt like everybody cheered and everybody was so happy. It felt surreal that, like, there was that good of a reception for, like, me.
Okay.
And like all of the NBA players were all like happy, and all of them like dapped me up and they hugged me. So it felt like it was something I truly deserved.
Alhamdulillah. And it's nice that you acknowledge that you deserve that. No, you should not. I mean, of course, there's humility, but you should, mashallah, when you know you have that skill, or you know you have, or you showed that, you do deserve that, yani.
For sure.
And it is nice for us to hear as Omanis, and I'm sure his mom's sitting there. I'm sure it's not, like, she was very proud, I can tell you that. It's amazing for even us to hear, like, not only was Omani selected, he went there, he won an award, and you represented Oman in such a nice light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about this is, like, now, if somebody thinks about Omani basketball players going to, like, this camp or anything,
okay,
like, obviously the first thing that's gonna come to mind is, like, okay, did an Omani player accomplish anything significant in this camp? And then there's only 4 awards to be won, and Omani won one of those awards.
صح. That is big.
So that is big. And the rest of the awards were won by either someone from Australia or New Zealand.
Okay.
So
you were not only Omani, the only Arab, yani.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
mashallah.
So it was, so for somebody Omani to, like, project our culture, project us as a people to the rest of Asia, the rest of the basketball community, it was big. That was something I'm so glad, alhamdulillah, I got to do, because Omanis are really good people.
I agree.
And most of the times we don't get a chance to showcase that. And if this opens up, like, people to seeing that we have these cultures, in our culture we have this respect for people and we are good people, that's definitely something I was aiming for.
Okay, and you really did represent that.
Yeah,
sure. Even the award you won is a direct representation of what you just mentioned and the way the Omani people are, yani. I also read there was an article, one of the interviews you'd done in the newspaper, that you were regularly volunteer of Dar al-Ata.
Yeah.
Do you think that built in you that volunteering spirit, that teamwork spirit, and everything that you showed at that camp?
Definitely, and I've been volunteering Dar al-Ata for what feels like my entire life now.
Okay.
And just helping people with Dar al-Ata, volunteering for Dar al-Ata, and just doing simple things like moving a box from here to somebody's house just to get that box to them because it might be heavy or something. That just makes you feel like you're a better person because you're helping others. So it instills that feeling inside you that, like, helping people is a good thing.
Okay.
So the volunteering, it definitely opened up my mind to just how much of a positive impact you can have on people. Because mashallah, like, Dar al-Ata, if you ask me, like, they've been doing amazing. They have been doing amazing, and there's so many different cases you hear about from them, and cases they solve, cases you hear about all the donations they get, alhamdulillah.
And the volunteering efforts and
and like it seems like every other week there's a Dar al-Ata event.
Exactly.
So
and it brings the community together in a helpful way, in a positive manner.
Yeah. So as soon as you think like Dar al-Ata, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, like for example, the first thing that comes to your mind is iftar saim, or helping a person in need in Ramadan. That just is synonymous with Dar al-Ata, and it's something that, like, I'm proud to be a part of. Even if it's just volunteer work, I'm really proud to be a part of something bigger than me. Something that helps more people than just an individual you see in front of you. Okay.
What you're saying to me, what I like is that it's a direct representation of the award that you won. Yani, this spirit makes sense that you won that award when you talk like this, when you hear your background in volunteering for years and all. So Wallah, we're proud يعني to hear that.
Thank you very much.
One thing you mentioned is that not a lot of Omanis, actually, when we look, are there any Omanis who are in basketball and everything? You mentioned there's not a lot of Omanis. You might be the only one, or you currently, I believe, are the only one who played in an NBA tournament and who won an award.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, hope I'm not the last.
Okay, this is where I want to come to. It's not common.
Basketball
is not common. Oman, mostly you'll hear football. Maybe you'll hear taekwondo. You'll hear something like that. What made you go into basketball to begin with?
Why? The easy answer would just be my height.
Okay. You guys, he's sitting down. You can't see it, but mashallah, he is tall.
Yeah.
Wait, do you want to stand up and show the camera? Wala?
Yeah, shall I take
you just stand up. I don't know if you're going to fit in the camera.
I don't know.
Guys, look at that. Mashallah. That's NBA height. Okay.
I'm 200 centimeters or
Mashallah.
6.5 almost.
Okay.
And so
it was actually a decision because of the height.
Mostly, but one thing that got me into it was my dad's friend, who I just call my uncle.
Okay.
He's a commentator for most of the sports in Oman.
Okay.
So if you're watching this, hi Uncle Nader. So he, ever since I was a child, he's been trying to get me and my older brother to just participate in basketball because.
Are you both tall?
Yeah,
and you've always been tall since you were kids?
Yeah, my brother is taller than me.
Oh, mashallah. I don't think he would fit in any cameras we have.
He's like 2.6 or something, mashallah.
Allah yakhafkum. Okay.
So ever since we were young, he's just been trying to get us to get into basketball. And my brother never, ever got into basketball.
Okay, he's not interested.
Yeah, and so when COVID came around, like at that time, I was looking into it. And I was watching like YouTube and stuff about like just, like you get those things that pop up on your For You page or something like that, and it's just like a clip of like a basketball guy dunking or whatever. So I was just like, who's the one basketball player I know? I just thought about it. I was like, oh, I know Kobe. All right. So I just used to watch Kobe clips and stuff like that, and then he passed away, unfortunately. Okay. And so him passing away, in a way, kind of made me like check out his clips, check out his stuff even more, and that got me more and more into the game. That developed my love for the game, because that was a way of me getting introduced to the vast world of basketball. And it's sad to say that his death was the reason I got into it, but it really was. But
it's actually not that sad. Then as someone who left such an impact to the point where even after their death, they're inspiring people.
For sure.
It doesn't sound sad to me at all. It sounds inspirational, yani.
Without Kobe, I really wouldn't be a basketball player.
That's
because if you were interviewing me 3 years ago or 4 years ago, sorry, and you asked me anything about basketball, I'd tell you Steph Curry or Kobe Bryant. Because those were the only two names I knew. They were the only two names I cared about, and they were my favorite players. Even though I really didn't watch it that much or stuff like that, I just used to support one team.
Okay.
And I've been supporting the same team since like 2016 or whatever. But I wasn't really like into it deeply.
Okay.
I was just like a backseat fan, if you will.
Okay.
So I wasn't really into the world of basketball. I was really into football. And then once Kobe passed away, I was like, I need to like
watch his clips and
watch more. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that just developed a huge love for the game, and my interest in the previous years just all came back, and so it was just.
So it's like reignited something in you in terms of basketball.
For sure.
Okay. In Oman, we have. I mean, most countries have this. Like they have, they're kind of geared to specific sports. So we're, I think, more geared to. If I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm not mistaken, but football and taekwondo, these kind of sports.
Good.
Would you encourage people to branch out and try different sports? Omanis in specific, would you encourage more Omanis to branch?
For sure.
Out?
And I'm not just saying this as a basketball player. I think more Omanis should try more sports other than just football.
Why?
Because Omanis have a lot of potential. We have a lot of athletic potential. I know a lot of athletic people.
Okay.
And we have the tools for a lot of good sports. And just to name a few, like Padu. I know a lot of people that are good at Padu. Tennis. A lot of Omanis are good at tennis.
Sahih.
Obviously, we have basketball. If anybody would like to try basketball, like it's not a hard sport to get around. It's really not a hard.
So you
sport.
would encourage people get into basketball
For sure.
No bias, just
get
like
into
that.
Basketball.
Not
Just
because
get a
you're
ball.
in it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay,
Just
I'm
get a
joking.
ball.
Uh-huh.
If you have any basket anywhere, just get a ball. Just
Okay.
throw it at the basket. Just try to get it in. You
Okay.
get it in, you'll feel happy. Trust me. You get it in once, you feel happy. Get it again. Get it again.
So
Get it again.
today's advice: get a hoop, get your basketball in if you want to be happy.
Yeah, just
for
once.
happiness.
Just once. Just put it inside the hoop. See how
Okay.
happy you feel. You feel happy.
Khalas, I'll try that.
For sure.
Okay, and other sports, like for example, maybe even martial arts. I mean, I've seen not tawajjuh. I've seen people have an inclination towards sports like jiu-jitsu these days, martial arts.
Definitely.
You played jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but it was for a short period.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't really continue pursuing it.
Okay.
Because I started before COVID, and then COVID hit, and it stopped me completely, and then I just fell in love with basketball, and I never really had the time to get back into
So
jiu-jitsu.
bye jiu-jitsu for now.
So bye for now. But I'm really hoping to get back in the near future.
Okay.
And there are a lot of gyms that do jiu-jitsu now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if me getting back to jiu-jitsu, I think it's a good idea because jiu-jitsu builds a lot of stamina. And it builds a lot of... It's more mental than it is physical. So it builds
Which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Unless you've tried it, you really don't know
Exactly,
much.
because you'd assume you need strength in something like martial arts when a lot of times you actually need
smartness.
And a mental game, yeah.
For sure. It's I'd like to describe it as physical chess.
Oh, that's a nice way to talk about it. Okay.
It's just mentally... Think of your body as chess pieces. Like your hand would be like a pawn. Your other hand is a rook. Your legs, the queen, or whatever.
Okay.
You just
chess
think,
terms.
Yeah, exactly. Just think of your body as chess pieces. Wherever you put a part of your body, you know you're either gonna get attacked or you're defending.
Okay.
So it just links your arms, your legs, your upper body to your brain. It builds that hand-eye coordination that you need in a lot of sports. Like basketball, you need a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
Because the way basketball is played, the ball is either going to be at your hand or you're going to be looking for it all the time.
Okay.
Because if you're on defense, your eyes are always going to be on the ball, and most of the times there's going to be a person next to you, but you're going to have them in your peripheral. So you're going to see them from the side, but most of the time you're focused on the ball.
Okay.
So if you're always focused on the ball, if the person there plays a pass to my guy over here, if I'm not ready for that pass and I'm not close enough to go catch it, he's going to catch that pass and he's going to beat me, and then my team's going to get scored.
So you have to be aware of where the ball is at all times.
Exactly.
So it is kind of mental, yani, as well.
Yeah, it has to be like your hands have to react as fast as your brain.
Okay.
Because if I see that pass coming and like I don't get my hand in the way of trying to intercept it or like deflect it,
okay,
that ball's going to get to him. I'm going to be out of position. He's going to get past me. My team's going to be in trouble, right? So I have to at all times look at the ball, look at my guy, knowing that at any moment that pass could reach there.
Okay.
And I have to be ready to either disrupt it or if it reaches there, I have to switch my legs, my body towards him so that he doesn't get
and you get it
past me. Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I can think of, Spidey senses.
Spidey senses.
There we go. That's the first thing you're talking about. I'm like, Spidey senses.
Yeah, it is. Because ever since you start, they teach you about one pose called the cowboy.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on defense, they tell you like be like a cowboy. So if you think cowboy, you just think somebody with like 2 guns or something like that.
I'm thinking yeehaw.
Yeah, exactly. You just think somebody with a hat, 2 guns, just walking around with crinkles on his legs and stuff like that.
There you go.
So they tell you to like get into a cowboy stance where it's like you have one finger pointed there and one finger pointed on the other side.
Okay. So that you're always aware.
So you're always aware. So that you're not flat towards one side.
Makes sense.
Which, if you're flat towards one side, what about the other side? What if there's someone there? If you overcommit to one side, what happens to the other side?
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
So basketball is a mental game. People will tell you basketball is complex. It's not. Basketball is an easy game.
Okay, so try basketball is basically what you would like to tell people.
For sure.
It makes you happy. Get the ball in, you'll get happy.
For sure.
Okay,
Just
and
even
try
bounce
different
it.
sport.
Yeah.
Even bounce it.
Just
okay.
bounce it.
For joy.
Just 1 2 1 2 1 2. Switch your hand. 1 2 1 2 1
Okay.
2. That's it.
خلاص. Cure. إيش اسمه? Okay, so people should be getting into. Is there something you think that we can do in Oman to maybe encourage more people to get to branch into different kinds of sports?
I think keyword here is exposure
For different sports.
for different sports for
Okay.
sure. Now, if you ask me where most of the media coverage goes for sports
Football.
in Oman, it's football.
Yeah, for
Everybody knows this.
sure. Yeah.
And it's not a hidden thing. Everybody knows the main sports in our country is football.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not bad at it by any means. We're decently good.
صح.
We're not bad at football, and our national team's been putting in results for the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
We've been Gulf Cup champions.
صحيح.
We've been making runs in the Asia Cup. So we are a good footballing nation, but it cannot be our only focus.
Makes sense.
Because look at other countries, like not to compare, not to belittle us,
Okay.
but if you look at other countries, there's always another sport or a balance as to like, okay, we're good at like this sport.
But we also have players in all these other sports.
بالضبط.
Okay.
Or so like let's exactly.
Uh-huh.
So like for example, let's pick any random country. Let's think about Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Right? Neighboring country very close to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now many people might not know this, but we all know how good they are at football. They beat Argentina.
Uh-huh.
So we all know
we can't forget that was
we
like
can't forget
World
that.
Cup. Well, what just happened there?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, I'll never forget
What's
that.
the thing they were singing?
Messi
Messi
وينه
وينه كسرنا عينه. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
So that's obviously what comes to your mind when you think
Uh-huh.
about football. So obviously that's a big achievement.
Exactly.
And then what a lot of people don't know is they're actually really good at basketball too. Like
Saudi?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really really good. I played against them, and they beat us. And like that was our first game in the tournament. We didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
We came to that game without really. Obviously, we did our scouting.
Okay.
We watched matches and stuff, but you never really know how good someone is until you play against them.
Makes sense.
So once we played against them, we realized these guys are actually really good at this. And
Okay.
like, I mean, we're good, but they're also really, really good.
Okay.
So in my mind, if you told me like Saudi and sports, my mind immediately goes to like football, horse riding.
True. I would expect that too.
Football, horse riding.
Okay.
But when it came to basketball, they were really good, and their senior national teams are really good. Their under 18s are really good. Their under
Okay.
16s have a bright future.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a bright future in all their three main basketball teams,
Okay.
and obviously they have their
Football
teams really bright.
Horse riding.
Some of the best horse riders in the world. I think Abdurrahman Al Raisi, if that's his name.
I unfortunately have no background in horse riding, but I'll take your
I
word.
I only know him because some of my friends are horse riders.
Oh, okay, there we go.
So equestrians, actually, that's a term.
That's the official
That's
term.
the official term.
That tells you how
equestrians.
little I know. I don't think I've. Oh wait, that's what they call it, equestrian club.
Equestrian club Sib.
It's
like 5 minutes.
There we go. I actually know the word. Okay.
So yeah, so if you can have more than one sport you're good at, that just builds. Like let's not get into like the economic side of it, but that's the financial. That's income for your country, because if you're doing good, that's income.
And also,
That's
I think
exposure.
I agree, and I think what you said is true. I think we have a lot of athleticism in Oman, both men and women. Like I've seen it with my own eyes. Like I used to live in the UAE. I've seen their level, which is amazing, mashallah, in multiple different sports. But I also think we have a lot of potential here.
Definitely.
In different sports. I've seen it in martial arts. I've seen it like new in basketball. I've seen it in football, paddle. I've seen it in running and like marathons. So there's this big marathon called Oman Desert Marathon.
Yeah.
They are running marathons for like 160 something K in the desert in different terrains and
this
all.
heat.
Well, actually, it's in Bidian. It was cold.
Bidiya is cool.
That was in like January. But I think they do stuff in the heat as well.
Definitely.
Like in Merge Marathon, people came out like dehydrated and like half dying, you know.
Yeah.
But that shows the level. أيوة, the Spartan race. Iron Man بعد كان هنا صح? Yeah. So we have all this, which shows حتى like water activities, like for example, what's that guy? There's a guy, the غواص, the diver.
The guy who he had like
he broke
world
the record.
Yeah. He had, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. I feel like we're disrespecting him.
Yeah, so okay, I don't know. This might be the part where we cut out because, mashallah, he did something amazing. We should remember his name.
We should remember. Let's get his name.
We'll get. Should I just Google his name?
Yeah, I feel like
because I don't want to disrespect.
Because he did. He broke like a world record.
Diver. Omar Al Ghailani.
Yeah. Okay. Now it comes to you.
Yeah. Okay. So look at how diverse it is. Maybe as a nation we can support more different sports.
Definitely.
You know, because we do have a lot of talent.
In many sports, I mean, going back to my example, equestrians. Like I know a lot of people that are equestrians, and mashallah, you on face value, horse riding seems so easy. Because you're just on top of the horse and then it's just jumping over stuff.
I mean, I don't think it's not as easy as you're saying, but you have to control another living animal.
To me, it's like, horse riding seems like about the easiest thing you can do.
Okay.
And like, I thought that for the longest time.
And did you try it?
I tried it once, right? So I tried it once with my friend and it was like, it was like a 5 meter like pole or whatever. And I couldn't get the horse to jump over it. And
then, you're trying to control another living thing.
Yeah, exactly. And my friend did it, and my friend like just did it, and it was like, the horse just went, and it was so easy. But I'm like,
what did you?
We held it the same way. What did you do that made it jump that I didn't? And he was like, you just have to find out yourself. So
okay. So it's a skill.
It's a skill. It is a skill. And even the littlest things. It takes skill. In most sports, the littlest things take skill. Because the hardest thing to get down is the basics.
Exactly. And once you have the basics,
the hardest thing to master is the basics. If you ask me today, as Mohammed, I'll tell you, I still haven't mastered the basics of basketball. And many people will see me as like more of an advanced player because of like where I've been, what I've done. But if you ask me, I'm still not completely through with the basics because you can never get too fundamental. You can never be too fundamental.
I agree with that.
The more fundamentals you have, the more fundamentally sound you can be, the better. And you can always be better. You'll never reach 100%, but if you continue to aim for it, continue to strive for it, continue to chase it, eventually you'll get closer to you won't get close to being 100%, but you'll be closer than the rest.
I agree. And that's in many different things, but also like I'll compare it to jiu-jitsu. I was watching a competition once on YouTube, and then there was one guy who was jumping all over the place and he was like doing a flying armbar, and he's like, you know, when you look at it, you're like, wow, Spider-Man's playing, you know? Yeah. The other guy, basic guard, armbar, khalas, he won. He did the basic. Every single thing he did was basic, but he had just perfected his basics, while as Hadak, he was like, okay, it was cool to look at.
It was
it's
WWE.
Flying
armbar. It's cool.
Exactly.
It's cool. I saw Khabib do it. And
exactly.
It looks so cool because you just jump and you take the man's arm.
Exactly. But probably Khabib has his basics down.
Khabib's basics are like over
Which
here.
is why when he does things like that, okay, he can do something like that. But sometimes when you try to skip the basic and go, for example, and start jumping around, you look cool. Yeah. But you're not gonna get the result.
But Khabib is like
next level.
He's next level because he's a wrestler with jiu-jitsu
and then striking back. Exactly.
Yeah, and like he's just a different
and then
level.
he has that vibe. Mal, send me location. Exactly.
I mean, he's one of my favorites for sure.
Me too. He's entertaining to watch. Like most, you know how like Conor McGregor, مثلا, he'll run his mouth, he'll do all that stuff, so it's entertaining. But Khabib's entertaining, just like he's not doing anything.
Send me location.
like one word answer.
Why do all this? Come, send location. That's all he says. And it's threatening. It's more threatening than Conor running his mouth being like, you'll do nothing. It's more threatening.
You're gonna do the accent? You can't.
I'm actually an MMA fanatic.
Okay, I like the MMA. I love it. But like I only like specific people, so I only watch the matches of the people I like.
I big shout out to my brother. My brother got me into MMA. He got me into any combat sport, like any combat sport knowledge or experience I have is through him.
Okay.
He started off, and like I just copied him.
Yeah. And then you got into it.
I just got into it myself because you copy your older brother at anything he does.
I
If you're a
agree.
younger brother, you copy your older brother.
I'm one of the youngest, and I copied them in so many things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I copied my brothers, not my sisters. I don't know how well that went down. But were you into the WWE? Because a lot of people who are into MMA are.
Yes,
Okay.
I was a big WWE
I
fan.
I was an obsessed fan where I went to all their live shows and backstage passes and stuff.
You went to like the Saudi ones, right?
No, they came to Abu Dhabi multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They did.
I went حتى هذاك ما like I won a ticket to go backstage and everything, and then you get when you get older you're like people go like it's fake.
It's fake.
And you don't
It's
think we know it's fake.
entertaining.
Exactly, it's called
entertaining.
worldwide something entertainment.
World
Wrestling entertainment. Exactly, they say it
yeah.
in the name. You know.
Literally.
فحتى when someone tells me I'm like, oh, you're watching a movie, they're like, yeah, I'm like, it's fake. You know, don't compare. Like I know, I
It
watch
is
the
fake.
UFC
It
too,
is
and I
fake.
know that's real. I know that's fake, but yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's
يعني.
real.
Exactly. But okay, back to our thing.
Back to the original
Yeah,
topic.
people should branch out, and we as a country, I think we do have the potential of entering many different sports. We have the athleticism, we have the talent,
For sure.
we have young Omanis like you who are willing to be disciplined and, mashallah, represent us in other countries on an international level in a way that would make us proud as Omanis.
Definitely.
So we should capitalize on that. And this should get support as
Definitely.
much as we can.
Definitely. And I think it all comes down to individuals.
Okay.
If you ask me, you cannot force anybody to have hard work.
Okay, it has to
Because
come from within.
It has to come from within.
Okay.
Because there's a saying that I repeat to myself every single day. Obsession beats talent.
Okay, that's an
Hard
interesting
work
one. That's nice.
beats talent.
Okay.
You could bring the most skilled player ever.
Mm-hmm.
But if he only trains like an hour a week, and you bring like a guy who trains, let's say for example, like 3 hours, 4 hours a day,
Okay.
like at the end of the day, sure that the more skilled player would be better. But if you ask a coach who they'd rather have, they tell you
The one who works hard.
I'd rather have the guy who works hard. Exactly.
But then what you're saying is true. Like if you link both together, like if you have the natural skill,
yeah.
and then you like I was watching the. I forgot Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
The documentary.
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance,
Yeah.
exactly. And he naturally had that skill, but
He's
he was
obsessed.
exactly what you said. Obsession beats talent, I think
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
He was there, first one there, last one out, despite the
Definitely.
fact that he probably had more natural talent than any of them there.
So if one of the greatest players of all time, if
Exactly.
not the greatest,
Mm-hmm.
has zero excuses for being in the gym longer than everyone else, what do you as a young player or you as an up and coming person with passion for the game or ambitions,
Okay.
what excuse do you have to not do the same? Because if the greatest player of all time can do that, why can't you?
Okay.
So that's a big part of like what makes me like so in love with the game is just passion.
Okay.
Because if you ask me, like, let's go to the cinema, or like let's go out, and on the same day I have training. Let's say like you want me to go out before training, I'll be like, okay, but I'm gonna go an hour and a half before training because
Okay.
I need to get there an hour before training every time, or else
So
it
discipline.
doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Okay.
But you see some guys, they'll show up like 5 minutes late to training, and they just show up like whatever.
They just do what they have to do and
do
get
what
out.
they have to do, and then as soon as the final whistle is blown,
They're out.
على طول.
Okay.
So how do you expect yourself to go anywhere if you're not willing to put in the hours?
Okay.
Like that, it's not just basketball. Any sport, if you have a passion, if you want to get anywhere, put in the hours.
صح.
It'll pay off. If I can sit here in front of you, 2 years ago I was in my house out in the heat, telling my brother to move his car away from the hoop so I can shoot at 7 a.m. while my mom and dad are out to work and my brother's asleep in the heat. And it paid off eventually. The harder you work, it'll pay off eventually because
The
you
only
trust
Omani to win an NBA award internationally.
internationally. The
Okay.
only one, and I feel like I'm still getting.
That's
I'm
only
not
the
even
beginning.
scratching the surface.
Okay.
If you ask me, I'm not even 50% of the way done. This is
What are your plans since you got into that? What are your plans in the future? I mean, you still haven't graduated high school.
Yeah.
You have 1 year left.
Yeah.
What's coming next, inshallah?
Inshallah. Well, I like to take things one step at a time.
Okay.
And obviously, my ultimate goal, future-wise, would be to play in the NBA.
Okay.
And that would be like my dream. It's been my life dream.
I'll pause you.
Sure.
Someone like you, mashallah, who is saying something like that. You've talked about discipline. You've been the only Omani to go abroad and win. I'm just saying this as on a personal level. I think someone like you should get support. Even from the community, even from, I know, mashallah, you have your parents' support. I know you have your teammate or whoever is around you. I know, alhamdulillah, you made it to the national team. But I think
coaches,
your coaches, yeah, exactly. But I think even, like for me, I think احنا كعمانيين, as Omanis, we should, support local talent like this.
Definitely.
Anyone else who wishes to support, you should get that level of support, because for me, I do see someone who thinks like you, someone who talks like you, someone who trains like you, has potential to even for us represent us in a that's big
on an NBA floor,
and on a level that hasn't been done. We haven't had a Omani basketball player, right. Ever.
Yeah.
So this is something that I do think you should get the support. Like is what I'm saying. Okay. So المهم, you should get the support. You should get as much as possible. I understand that this is not one of the sports that
has main coverage
from the media and from other sources and everything, but Definitely. I do believe that seeing a talent like this, we should all be supporting behind it.
Thank you. Yeah, because not a lot of people share the vision.
Yeah.
Because when you present an idea that's so far-fetched to people, most of the time they just get skeptical and they start to doubt whether it's even possible. And once I present this idea to anybody and they just start to let's say not take it seriously, or they start to critique stuff like that.
So you mean the idea that you presented is you going and playing for the NBA?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if somebody's critiquing that or not taking it seriously, I know that this person doesn't know the vastness of how deep this thing can actually go, or how hard this actually takes. So I just try to distance myself, because
you don't need that.
You surround yourself with people that share the same goals as you,
صح.
right? Or they share the same passion as you.
Yeah.
So if you're working hard and the people around you are working just as hard, you elevate each other.
Okay.
Because if I'm putting in 6 hours in the gym, and you come in and you put in 3 hours, and then we both play on the same court, I'm going to have, for example, more stamina to play the entire match, and then by the half of the match, you're just going to be...
Khalas, you're gassed out. You can't. Okay.
So if we all just collectively work together, everybody can elevate themselves. If you ask me, I have been getting the support that I've been needing recently. Alhamdulillah. There's been a lot of media coverage around my trip to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And I think Oman Events on Instagram posted
you got Oman Events.
Yeah.
Nice.
They posted a clip of me drilling in the camp.
Okay.
So it has been a lot of media coverage, so I'm really grateful for that. And
you plan to continue and
inshallah.
NBA?
Inshallah. So the way it goes, you have to first get into a college, preferably a D1 college, because there's different levels. There's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO, I think.
So this is abroad?
This is in
the US?
In the US, yes. So the goal, inshallah, would be to get to a D1 college, and then from then I would do maybe my 2 years in college.
Okay.
Then I would declare for the draft, and by inshallah, God wills it.
Inshallah, ya Rab.
Let's say I get selected in the NBA draft, I get drafted. That way I can then play in the NBA.
Okay.
And at any point, I can go back to college and finish my
degree.
Okay. Or I can also pursue my degree and play at the same time. So by my second year in the NBA or my third year in the NBA, inshallah, I could be done with college, done with my degree. So then it just becomes one main focus, and that's just basketball. Okay,
and you've actually planned this from now. You're 17. Definitely. You've already had this plan in your head from now.
Definitely.
Again, this is a man who deserves support. I'm just putting this out there.
And I try not to look into numbers too much or logistics, but there's never been a Omani to make it to overseas basketball. Not just American. There's never been a Omani overseas basketball player.
Okay, and you plan to be the first,
and
inshallah.
I really plan to be the first. And I have a saying.
Okay.
I have a saying. I keep this in mind. I keep reminding myself this. I'm gonna be the first to make sure I'm not the last.
Nice. So you want others to follow in your footsteps and actually pursue this?
There's a lot of talent, Faman.
Okay.
A lot of talent. I know a lot of guys. I'm not gonna name drop, but there's a lot of
you can
guys.
If you want to.
Like there's a lot of guys coming up in national teams and the younger national teams. There's a guy called Mish'al.
Okay.
Who got selected for like a Singapore camp.
Nice.
So there's a lot of potential to be had, but we as a people, as a community, as an association, as everything need to come together and just make the path the easiest it can be from our side, because the path itself is hard. It's a long, hard road, and it takes a lot of self-will. It takes a lot of time and effort to just...
So what you said, it takes discipline. It takes hours and hours of work every day. So you're doing your part, and the rest of us should do our part in terms of supporting this talent.
There has to be like a way. There's always a way to make the path easier.
Okay.
Right. And if the people that control these things, inshallah, nowadays, they're making things much easier for us. It's so easy to participate in the Dawri. In the league, the basketball league for Oman. It's so easy to just get into a club or something like that. And I pray that we take this further.
And continue to open more paths for our athletes.
Exactly. Okay. We'll try to provide like scholarships for athletic scholarships.
Okay.
Because that's not really something you hear about
here in Oman.
Yeah, definitely. It's
true. And we do have, again, a lot of athletes who
not just in basketball, in a lot of sports.
Multiple different branches.
Yeah. So I really hope me being a person who can, inshallah, achieve this.
Inshallah,
get a scholarship, get abroad, can pursue my dream. That, is almost a wake-up call.
Okay.
That this is possible. Dream big.
For Omanis.
Do what you must, because you can do it. You can make it. So if me being the first and makes sure that
you're not the last.
I'm not the last person to have these ambitions and these dreams, that's my main goal. That's what I want to achieve. Because if you ask me what impact I'd like to leave behind, it's that other people can see that it really doesn't take much other than hard work and dedication just to get to your goals. Because everything else is up to you.
I agree.
It's really up to you.
I agree. So you mentioned that we're talking about support on a big level. Support on a minor level.
Definitely.
Who supported you in your life that helps you to do all this?
My parents.
Your parents.
My parents.
I know that. Again, I don't want to say how I know that, but I know that, mashallah, I have seen that your parents are very supportive.
Definitely. And just my family as a whole.
Okay.
First and foremost, it all goes out to my family.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be anywhere without them. They sacrificed so much for me.
Okay.
They made sure I got into positions I needed to be at times I needed to be. They took times out of their day. They took time out of work. They took time out of everything that went on with their life to just make sure that I could get the easiest path possible to follow my dreams. And even if that means postponing important things for them just to ensure my future, and I'm so grateful for that.
Okay.
I'm so grateful for my parents, for my family, for providing that level of support.
That environment for you and the support.
Definitely. And then my coaches. It has to be my coaches. My coaches have believed in me since day one. So I will name drop now.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I'd like to thank Coach Ali Al-Blushi, Coach Mohammed Al Raisi, Coach Haytham Al-Ghassani, I think, Coach Hamid Al-Ghassani. These guys are all my club coaches. They're the first coaches I ever had. And so since my first ever training session with these coaches, they saw something in me.
Okay.
and they've been incredibly supportive, but at the same time tough on me in a way that I needed.
Okay.
Because there were times where I was getting too comfortable or too complacent, and they had to pull me out, talk to me, be like, Mohammed, you need to work on this, and this, or else you're not going to get anywhere.
So tough love, yani.
Tough love.
Okay.
Because but they'll tell it to you straight to your face. If you don't quit this, if you don't stop this, you're not going to get anywhere.
Okay.
So hearing that, your first reaction would be to get mad. Obviously,
or defensive, صح,
or
true.
you would get defensive.
صح.
But with time, you realize they're right.
Okay.
Whatever they said, you need to stop, you need to fix this, it was actually true. And without them, I really wouldn't be here, because they gave me the first chance. They took me under their wing and
encouraged you.
They encouraged me. They gave me multiple opportunities to perform at the highest level.
Okay.
And they gave me a chance to play for my under 18s, under 16s, and the first team, which is not an easy task. Just to get a new kid, give him the opportunity to play for the first team, his first year, and he is already playing for the first team. That's not, as a coach, you need to know what you're doing. So
they put that trust in you. They saw something.
Exactly. If something goes wrong, obviously all the blame goes on the coach mostly. So him trusting in me enough to put me in that situation, knowing that I won't disappoint him, was more than I could ever ask for. And obviously my national team coaches, Coach Sahir, Coach Mohammed Al Raisi, Coach Ala, and Coach Ghassan. My favorite coach, Coach Ghassan, because he handles relations between players and coaches, between the players and the association. So he's just, his nickname is Baba Ghassan.
Oh.
So he tells us when like our salary comes, he tells us when we have training, he tells us everything, and like he's just such a positive person to be around. And without him, without his constant like pressure, but at the same time support for me, I would have like slowed down and gave up a little. But he just always kept pushing me, pushing
in a positive manner.
So every coach I've ever had, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I really wouldn't be doing this without you guys. Thank you for giving me opportunities to play for you. Thank you for giving me opportunities to represent my country. And I hope in the future I can continue to do that and continue to make you guys proud.
Okay. The level of support that you spoke of from your coaches, from your parents and your family members, from what you're saying and from all that you said, it seems like this played such a big role in putting you where you are now.
Definitely.
What would you say to other caretakers, parents, coaches about supporting young talent? How important do you think it is?
I think having somebody that believes in you is 50% of the way. Because you can give yourself that 50% you believe in yourself.
Okay.
But there will be moments where you will doubt yourself. Undoubtedly. I've had so many moments of self-doubt.
Okay.
I've felt like I wasn't getting anywhere so many times. But with my parents being there, with the help of my coaches, I got past it.
Okay.
And I was able to...
So it was a big part of your journey to where you are now and where, inshallah, you're planning to go.
Definitely. I think as a player in any sport, if you have that belief in yourself and you can get other people to believe in you and you build a strong relationship with your coaches, and from the first training session, you need to realize coaches are there to help you.
Okay.
It's in the name, coach. They're there to coach you. They're there to train you, to guide you. You need to realize that. Do whatever they say. In your spare time, do the extra.
Okay.
Because the essentials they give you, the essentials they'll put on you in that 2 hours of training are more than enough to cover you going future-wise to be a good player. If you want to be
a great
player, an exceptional player, you yourself have to put in more work outside of what they give you. If they give you, like, let's say a drill, they'll be like, Mohammed, today you're going to do this specific drill for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to move to this drill for 10 minutes and then this drill for 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, okay, tamam, do the drill. Afterwards,
You do it yourself.
You'll do it yourself.
Okay.
At home, do it
They've
yourself.
taught it to you, now it's up to you
Now,
to
yeah.
keep
Because
training.
they wouldn't teach you or they wouldn't tell you to do something if it's not beneficial. And if you master what they teach you, by the next time they ask you to do it, you're going to be able to do it so easily.
Okay.
And then it's just going to show up in parts of your game that you didn't even realize. And there's going to be a time where you like, let's say you score something and you're like, oh, that kind of felt like doing that one drill I was doing a couple months ago where I just used to just throw the ball like this and it went in and now I'm scoring and it helped my team.
It's kind of like muscle memory. You've done it so many times, so by the time you come and do it in a match, it's almost like you didn't think of the move.
Exactly.
That's why we drill in general, يعني,
That's
in
how you
anything. صح. One thing you mentioned that's I think is interesting, the tough love bit.
Definitely.
Okay. It seems to me that you have that mindset where it's okay to get defensive initially. It's okay. Constructive criticism can sometimes come in a way where you do get defensive in the beginning. But it's important to reel yourself back and understand that this is for my benefit and then actually follow that instruction.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about constructive criticism from your point of view.
Well, I've been doing sports my entire life.
Okay.
So I've dealt with a lot of different coaches. I've been coached by a lot of great people, and it's always the same point being repeated.
Okay.
If you don't work on this, don't expect me to work on that for you. So that's one way where it's like, if I'm telling you to do this and you're doing this, or I'm telling you not to do this and you still do it, me as a coach, how do you expect me to help further you as a player
when you're not willing to do that?
When you're not willing to just do that 5% I ask you to and just listen to me. Because if you're not listening to what your coach is saying, then you're not really being coached. You're just there to for randomness.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, every word the coach speaks to you is valuable. Even sometimes the coach may blame you. He may be wrong in blaming you. He wouldn't blame you unless he knows there's something good in you.
Okay.
Because if you were like, let's say, making constant mistakes, and he would just be like, don't worry about it, you'll get the next one, don't worry about it. So sometimes obviously you need that to like keep your head up. But if every single time you make a mistake, you're just patted on the back like, don't worry about it, you'll get it next time, mistakes are gonna feel normal to you.
Okay.
Mistakes are gonna feel like
you can just get past it and learn and do something better.
Yeah. But if every time you make a mistake, you get your coach telling you like, next time you do this and not this, because if you do this will happen, right?
Okay.
That sticks in your mind, so that whenever you're in that situation again, you know not to make that mistake, because if you make that mistake, like he said, this will happen.
Okay.
He tells you the consequences of your mistakes.
Okay, but you have to be open to receiving that.
Exactly.
Okay, because what happens a lot of times is it's not easy to hear.
Definitely.
Yani criticism, regardless, even if it comes in the nicest way, you can go into like doubt or something, and it's not easy to hear that.
Your
but
first reaction is like, am I not doing a good job? It's like,
or even sometimes anger towards the person, like that's just the messenger who's trying to help you, because the people who truly love you, like your parents, for example, or your closest friends, a sign that they truly love you is that they will tell you are messing up.
Definitely.
You know, but this is not just in sports, as we're discussing now in terms of coaches. It's in life. And
someone has to hold you accountable.
And you have to be willing.
Or else you'll make the same mistake over and over again.
صح. And you have to be willing to accept that stuff, even on a religious level, if I'm allowed to mention this on this channel, يعني. But it's like, we have that, إن الله لا يغير بقوم ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. God will not change you until you change what's in yourself.
Exactly.
You know, but you have to be willing to aslan make that step. So
you can't expect some people to do that for you. It's like going back to the religious thing you said. It's like praying for something to happen and then
not working for it.
And then not working for it. True. You just be like, Ya Rab,
I want to pass that test, and I have never attended the class. Not tawakkul. Yeah, there we go.
Tawakkul, not tawakkul.
So this is in life. This is in even your spiritual stuff. This is in sports. This is a rule that applies everywhere. You have to change what's inside you and you have to be willing to make that change. No one can help you if you don't.
Yeah.
God himself tells you, you make that change and I will help you. Like God is always there to help. But even he tells us that, you know, for this applies in everywhere. Like I like that. I like this mindset. It is an important thing because it's in everything. Like even in our career. You know, like I'm working in the media. You know, sometimes if I make a mistake, it's quite public.
Yeah.
You know, like
media seems like a tough profession.
Yeah, and if you do a mistake, you know, you'll get it in the comments. Like
the first comment is gonna be pointing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had something with Dar al-Ata where I made a mistake. So I said, I don't know if you remember the video Mal Wajid Wajid. There was a video that went viral because I said Wajid Wajid when it was like Shaheen. And everyone kept all the comments are like, oh, she does not speak Arabic. Wajid 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 Wajid, you know, and it was like, you know, but it taught me
your mistakes are so publicized.
Exactly, you know. I was like, okay, next time watch my words, you know, because you can't say something that because there was a serious point to that video, but the only thing people heard because of what my mistake was, haha, Wajid Wajid.
Exactly.
You know, I got my criticism there in the comment section.
And then it never happened again.
It never happened again. I don't think you'll ever hear me say the word Wajid Wajid again. You
just said it.
You didn't have to point that out. No, but like, you have to be open. I believe in that. I believe it is important, and I believe that you have a mature mindset, mashallah, for someone of your age.
Thank you.
Because hatta the things you're saying is beneficial to people who are even older who might not have that mindset. Yani it's very common. Right. Because it's something we all go through. Definitely. But I also like that you mentioned that it is natural to get defensive in the beginning. It's natural maybe to have a reaction in the beginning.
Definitely.
But then fix it.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
And I think if you're trying to do something great, there's always going to be skeptics.
Yeah.
There's always going to be skeptics. And I witnessed that firsthand because, like, what they don't prepare you for is envy.
That's interesting you brought that up. Okay.
What you don't get prepared for is envy. Because when you start to do things that get publicized, when you start to do things that catch people's eyes, there's always going to be a certain people or a certain crowd who are envious of the opportunity to get put like into the mainstream or put into public's view.
Okay.
So they will try to find any
misstep that you make,
fault,
any mistake,
point it out, make fun of it, just so like
they try to bring you down.
Just so it seems like you're not as good as you think you are, or you're not as good as advertised.
Yeah.
And the way to deal with that is, if you ask me, just ignore it. For some people, that's hard because you see like somebody making fun of you or criticizing you, and it just sticks with you.
Yeah.
And
it messes with you mentally.
It messes with you. But me, like, when I got my first hate comment, I was happy.
I understand.
I was happy because I was like, I'm doing something that's like good enough for people to like notice the hate on. If that makes sense.
No, that does make a lot of sense.
It's like, I'm like, you could write in the comments like something about me not being a good player or whatever, and I really wouldn't care because I'm not the one commenting about you. You're the one commenting about me. And
it takes a specific level of envy for you to put a comment like that to begin with.
Yeah, because if you look at me and you think I'm not a good player, then just make fun of me to yourself. Just move on.
Ayo.
Just move on.
But for you to put that on a comment section.
But for you to get like envious enough or like, let's say triggered enough, حقود enough to write like a 4-sentence or like a 4-line comment about like like it's like
you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if let's say I'm doing it wrong, like you're saying, I'm still doing it. You're not.
You're on your couch writing a comment, or wherever you're
and
sitting.
Like,
you're sitting on a couch.
Like, it just unfortunately this happens a lot. And
I agree.
I've seen it happen with friends of mine. I've seen it happen with famous athletes. I've seen it happen everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
And like, I know a friend of mine who's like, he's the first Kuwaiti to get a D1 scholarship.
Okay.
And like
When you're saying D1, right?
D1,
Not D1.
D1.
Like the letter D and the number 1.
D and 1.
Okay,
yeah.
there we go. Okay.
So he's the first Kuwaiti to
Because
get
I'm
it.
like, if I'm confused, maybe someone else would be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he's the first Kuwaiti to ever get it.
Okay.
And so, like, most of the comments are just like, مبروك كذا كذا فخر الوطن, stuff like that.
And then there's hate.
And then there's just one that's like, غريب, or like, I think this is kind of weird. Like, why would he get a scholarship? I don't know what he did to deserve a scholarship, and stuff like that. And it's like,
that's Hakood vibes right
why?
there.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
there you go.
If you're questioning it,
Mm-hmm.
even you, what is you questioning it gonna do?
And why do you have to put it on a public platform?
It's like they're not gonna take away the podcast. They're not gonna take away the scholarship just because a random Instagram user commented something about like, oh, this guy, he might not deserve it. So why? So you think college scouts are gonna listen to you instead of looking at his games?
Actual talent?
Yeah, they're not gonna listen to you. So what's the point of commenting? Like,
I agree.
What's the point?
I agree. Like we different concept, of course, because you're in sports, we're مثلا in the media and stuff.
Yeah,
but we
you're
get
my
these.
enemy.
There we go. Well, I actually want to be a form of support. By the way, like for me, I love seeing this, and I think we should support it. You know.
Thank you.
But we'll get these comments. One thing I'm learning الحين.
Yeah.
There's hate.
There's
hate in everything, but sometimes here and there might be a comment where I'm like, even if it's written in a hateful way, even if it's, they'll mention something where I'm like, should I actually take note of that? Like, for example, I in interviews, I tend to pause and think of what I'm saying. And sometimes, like, there'll be a whole 30 seconds where I'm just looking at the guest because I'm thinking of what I'm saying, And someone commented on that in a hateful way,
Yeah.
At first, I was like, okay, hateful comment. But then I'm like, wait, let me read it and let me actually look at the footage. And I'm like, I'm staring at someone for 30 seconds saying nothing. To me, it's fine because, I'd rather say it in an articulate way than say it wrong.
Yeah.
But then it also might not look good to a viewer. If I'm like, okay, so that is a hate comment, but sometimes
it can be useful.
It can be useful. So I'm like, hater, but I learned something. So, I don't mind it. Like, I don't know, you have to kind of look at it like it shouldn't hurt you. It can be beneficial. They don't know how to talk nicely, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe I learned something from their bad comment.
Definitely.
And you reach a point where that's how you look at it so objectively. You don't take it subjectively and khalas. That's it.
And like the best part about like maybe let's say a hate comment.
Yeah.
Let's say like they point something out for not being the way it's supposed to be. So you do it the way they say it's supposed to be.
Okay.
And you do it better than
what they even thought, maybe by making.
So then
comment.
that's just then they have nothing to say.
Like you stick it to the hater, basically.
Exactly.
I agree. Okay. To wrap this up.
Sure.
What would you say? Like this is like you talking to the camera and telling.
Yeah.
مثلا youth who want to get into different kinds of sports or want to do something to make Oman proud.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
The first thing I'd say is don't let anyone discourage you. If you think you have talent, if you know you have talent, don't let anyone else, not even yourself, ever tell you don't have what it takes. Because if you believe it in your mind and you think your physical gifts and you think your mental strength is enough for you to make it past stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and get to the final stage, go for it. By all means, go for it. Find yourself an outlet. Find yourself anywhere you can practice what you want to practice, and just go out there. Put yourself out there. Expose yourself to different places. Go here, talk to this coach, that coach. Take in as much as you can. I got this from my coach in the club, and before I left to Abu Dhabi, he told me one thing. He told me in Arabic, but I'll say it in English. Be a sponge.
Okay.
Be a sponge. You go there, try to absorb as much as possible. And that doesn't just apply to if you're going to outside Oman and you're going for like a workshop, something like that. even in Oman, if you're playing, let's say, a sport and you come across a player that you see is really good or is better than you, or even a player not better than you, but he's doing something extremely well.
Okay.
Learn from them. Absorb. Like, I learn from my teammates every single day. Teammates that are younger than me. I learn from teammates that are older than me. I learn from my coaches. There are teammates like 2-3 years younger than me, but they do something better than I do.
Okay.
So I'm not afraid to go ask them, like, how did you do this, and this, and this? Because I know asking them, it's going to first lift them up. Future-wise, if they need anything, they'll come to me.
صحيح.
Future-wise, if I need anything, I can still go back to them. Because if they're doing something well enough for it to look like it's consistent and for it to look good, ask. Just ask. Because
most people are willing to share their knowledge.
Exactly.
This is an actual fact.
Because
you're giving them that respect of showing them you are doing something great. I want to learn from you. Most of them will actually share with you.
Definitely. And even myself, like, if I'm playing pickup in, like, let's say El Moj or any public court, there's going to be like a kid who's like 10, 9 years old, just there with a ball, just bouncing it randomly, just shooting. And like, he'd see me do something, obviously that's a bit more advanced. He'd see me like maybe like doing some of the stuff I do, and he'd ask me about it, and I'd be like, oh, once you get to here on the court, the way your body is positioned, you have to do this in order for this.
So you kind of teach him how to do it.
So you kind of break it down.
Okay.
You have to break it down for people so that in a way it's easier for them then to go step by step, rather than you just being like, oh, well, because I got the ball, I went here, and then I just did this and this.
Okay.
That just sounds like you don't really care about what you're saying.
صح.
But if you break it down, it's like, because I got the ball here, I had to go there.
Okay.
Because my body would have been on the opposite side, كذا كذا كذا.
So teach with a conscience, like teach بضمير يعني basically with a conscience.
Don't just give them any random answer. Most people will go into detail, because if you tell somebody you're doing something good, they're going to feel good about themselves and they're going to want to teach you.
Sorry.
So don't be afraid of asking questions. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to dream. Do not be afraid to dream, because I'm standing here in front of you, or sitting here in front of you, as a dreamer myself, as somebody with big ambitions, big dreams, and not for a moment do I think I cannot achieve those dreams. I really, really believe that I can achieve the dreams I set myself out to achieve, because at the end of the day, it's in my hands. It's up to me whether those dreams get achieved or not. I can do my 90%, and then the 10% from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I give my 90%, even if it doesn't happen, I'm thankful, because I know if it was meant for me, or if it was right for me, Allah would have given it to me.
That's the concept of rizq, yes.
If my dream is a good one and it's written for me, that 10% will come on its own. But that 90% is not coming from anyone but you.
Okay, your work. So you want to tell the camera that you're going to be Oman's first NBA player?
Inshallah. So this is my first ever radio interview. And hopefully not the last. Hopefully not the last in this room.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, the next time, or no, hopefully before that. Or
you
inshallah,
have a long way.
Inshallah, one day I come back into this room as Oman's first NBA player. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. I actually really enjoyed this interview.
Thank you. Me too.